Today we're checking out Fabric's Vintage Synths Volume 2, a new collection that brings the character of 3 highly respected hardware synthesizers into a much more accessible production environment. This collection includes Andromeda, Vintage CS, and the Vintage Matrix, which are also inspired by the Alesis Andromeda A6, the Yamaha CS80, and the Oberheim Matrix 12. Those are 3 very different synthesizers, but they all have something important in common. The original hardware is expensive, difficult to find, and not necessarily practical for the average producer to own. This collection gives you a way to explore some of that vintage character directly inside the MPC or your computer without needing a room full of keyboards. So before we get into the individual instruments, it's important to understand what this collection is really trying to be. I would not approach these as a straight component for component emulation where every control and every technical detail is identical to original hardware. The goal seems to be capturing the personality and sonic character of those instruments, then placing that sound inside the Fabric engine. Now, the first instrument is Andromeda, inspired by Alesis Andromeda A6. The original Andromeda was already an interesting instrument because it was a large analog polysynth released during a time when the industry had moved heavily towards digital synthesizers and workstations. It had a very deep architecture, extensive modulation, multiple filters, and the ability to create sounds that could be warm and traditional, but also aggressive, complicated, and futuristic. Now, that personality does come through here. The Andromeda feels more like a modern and flexible member of this collection. It can give you wide pads, animated analog textures that you would expect, but it can also become sharper, heavier, more experimental. Some sounds have that polished late analog character, while others become unstable and almost modular in the way they move. For producers, I think the strength of Andromeda is versatility. You can use it for basses, leads, pads, sequences, sound effects, and evolving textures. It does not feel locked into one decade or one particular genre. I can hear these sounds working in modern R&B, hip-hop, electronic music, cinematic production, synthwave, pop, and experimental music. Even when the presets have a vintage foundation, many of them still feel ready for current production. The second instrument is the Vintage CS, inspired by the Yamaha CS80. Now, the CS80 has developed an almost legendary reputation because of its expressive sound. It is often associated with large cinematic textures, emotional brass sounds, expressive leads, and pads that seem to breathe and change underneath your fingers. Vintage CS captures that expressive side of the collection. Compared with Andromeda, the sounds here can feel more organic and emotional. Some of these sounds can become huge, especially when you start playing larger chords or adding movement through velocity, aftertouch, the modulation wheel, or the onboard controls. This is probably the instrument I would reach out for if I want the sound to carry emotion. The pads work well for intros, bridges, film-style arrangements, ambient sections, and records that need a sense of space. The brass and string-style sounds can sit behind like a singer without immediately taking over the arrangement, but they can also become the main feature when played more aggressively. One of the things I appreciate about this collection is that you do not have to be a synthesizer historian to get something useful from it. You may not know every detail about the original CS80, but you can still load the Vintage CS, browse the presets, and quickly understand what kind of musician role it can play. You may not know every detail about the CS80, but you can still load Vintage CS, browse the presets, and quickly understand what kind of musical role it can play. The presets demonstrate the personality of the instrument without requiring you to build every patch from the ground up. The third instrument is the Vintage Matrix, inspired by the Oberheim Matrix 12. Oberheim synthesizers are often associated with wide, rich pads, brass sounds, sweeping filters, and the type of analog character that immediately fills up the stereo field. The Matrix 12 took that classic Oberheim foundation and combined it with an extremely flexible modulation system. Vintage Matrix gives this collection another flavor of analog sound. Where Vintage CS can feel more emotional and cinematic, Vintage Matrix often feels wide, polished, and luxurious. Expressive polyphonic sounds, brass textures, and patches that make simple chords sound more expressive. A lot of these presets are immediately usable. That is important because sometimes a synthesizer can be technically impressive but still require a lot of work before it produces something good. Here I found sounds that make me want to start playing rather than immediately start reaching for every control. The presets give you a strong starting point, and then the interface allows you to shape them without making the process unnecessarily complicated. And that brings us to one of the biggest strengths of Fabric Vintage Synths 2. The balance between vintage character and modern usability. Original instruments such as the CS80, Matrix 12, and Andromeda A6 can be deep and sometimes intimidating. They were designed in different eras with different approaches to synthesizing and programming. Placing their influence inside of the shared Fabric environment gives the collection a more consistent workflow. Once you understand how the instrument is organized, it can become easier to move through the others. You have accessible controls shaping the sound, a modern preset system, modulation options, and built-in effects. You can start with a preset and make a few broad adjustments, or you can go further creating something more personal. This consistency is especially useful on the MPC. I like hardware synthesizers, but also appreciate being able to keep an entire production inside of one system. With these instruments, I can load a vintage-style pad, record MIDI, automate the controls and effects, and save everything directly with the project. I do not have to connect an external synthesizer, record multiple audio passes, or deal with cables, or recall settings later on. That convenience does not completely replace the experience of owning the original hardware. A real vintage synthesizer has its own physical controls, imperfections, limitations, and playing experience. However, not everyone has the money, space, maintenance knowledge, or desire to collect a large selection of analog keyboards. The question is, can this set of instruments provide inspiring sounds for your music production? These presets are another major part of the value. Strong presets are important to me because I do not always want to stop the creative process and spend 20 minutes designing a sound. Sometimes I need something that immediately fits the direction of the track. This collection gives you plenty of sounds that can quickly establish a mood. The pads can create an entire atmosphere, the basses have enough weight to support the modern drums, and the leads have enough personality to become recognizable in the part of the production. There are also texture and sequences that can help start an idea when you do not already have a clear direction. At the same time, I would not judge the collection simply by scrolling through presets. These sounds can change considerably once you begin adjusting the filters, envelopes, modulation, effects, and performance controls. A preset that initially feels too bright or too busy may become perfect after a few small tweaks. The modern interface makes those changes approachable even if you're not an advanced sound designer. Now, as far as weaknesses are concerned, one potential drawback is that producers looking for the exact recreations of the original hardware may want more direct control over every individual detail. Because the instruments share the fabric approach, some of the original hardware's identity has been translated into a more unified system. This makes the collection easier to use, but it may not satisfy someone whose primary goal is detailed historical accuracy. There's also some overlap in the type of sounds available. All three instruments produce pads, basses, leads, and analog style textures. The difference is more about the characteristics than the basic sound category. You may need to spend some time playing them to understand when Andromeda works better than a Vintage or Matrix, or when the Vintage CS provides more particular emotion than others don't. There's also some overlap in this type of sounds available. All three instruments can produce pads, basses, leads, and analog style textures. The difference is more about characteristics than basic sound category. You may need to spend time playing them to understand when Andromeda works better than a Vintage or Matrix, or when a Vintage CS provides the particular emotion. There's also some overlap in the type of sounds available. All three instruments provide pads, basses, leads, and analog style textures. Now, the difference is more about characteristic than basic category. You may need to spend some time playing them to understand when the Andromeda works better than the Vintage Matrix, or when Vintage CS provides a particular emotion that the others do not. Personally, I see the overlap as useful rather than unnecessary. When I am producing, I may know that I need an analog pad, but I do not always know exactly which type of analog pad will fit. Having three different personalities gives me options. Andromeda can provide something more modern and complex, Vintage CS can bring emotion and movement, and the Vintage Matrix can give me something that's wide and polished in that Oberheim character. So, who is this collection for? I think it makes the most sense for MPC users, producers, keyboard players, composers, and sound designers who want to access vintage-inspired analog sounds without dealing with the cost and inconvenience of original hardware. It is also beginner-friendly because the presets provide immediate results, while the deeper controls give more experienced users room to customize the sound. The biggest strength of Fabric Vintage Synths Volume 2 is that it makes three legendary synthesizer personalities practical for modern music production. The instruments have enough vintage character to feel distinct, but they are not trapped in the past. You can use them for classic synth music, but you can also use them in current R&B, hip-hop, pop, trap, soul, cinematic music, gospel, electronic music, and all those other modern styles. My biggest criticism is that people looking for exact virtual replicas may find the Fabric approach broader and more streamlined than they expect. But if your priority is making music instead of comparing every circuit, perimeter, and everything else against the original hardware, this may be an advantage. Overall, this feels like a strong continuation of the collection. Andromeda, Vintage CS, and Vintage Matrix each bring different types of analog personality, and the presets do a good job of showing what each instrument can contribute. You get the character of rare, respected synthesizers along with the convenience of a modern plugin and MPC workflow. This instrument makes it easy to forget about the technical side for a moment and simply play. The sounds have personality, the presets are inspiring, and the shared fabric environment makes the collection approachable. It does not replace the history or physical experience of the original keyboards, but it gives producers a practical way to bring some character into the music they are creating today.